How you doing today? Welcome to Shake City Uncut. We have a good show today. As you saw in the name of the title of the show, is that we're on tour with Protoje, and tonight we're going to talk about Protoje. We're going to talk about Bob Marley's locks that didn't get sold, the king of the dancehall that's still bubbling. We have a journalist here from Billboard. Maybe she can let us know who it is, who the king of the dancehall is. And I'm not going to waste any more time because you two already listened to me. We're going to start with Patricia. Is it Patricia?
Yeah, so you can call me Pat. Everyone calls
you Pat. Pat, please tell us who you are.
Well, my name is Pat Moschino. Well, before that, let me just say thank you for having me here tonight.
Oh, no. We're small fries. We're not. All the thanks is to you.
But anyway, yes, I'm a journalist. I've been writing about reggae music and dancehall music and a little bit of other Caribbean music for over 30 years. I've written for many publications. I was for many years the music editor at Air Jamaica's in-flight magazine, Skywritings, and that until the airline ceased operations. And I wrote for Billboard, still contribute somewhat, but wrote for Billboard for, I'd say, a period of almost 20 years. And now I do that alongside with freelancing for a variety of publications. My work has appeared in Rolling Stone, NPR Music, Grammy.com, and the New York Times.
We got to give you a horn for that.
Love that. Thank you.
All right, Teddy, you're up. Full screen. Hold on a second. There you go, Teddy. Full screen for Teddy.
I am Ted Panagiatis. They call me Dr. TKO, and I am the president of Dr. TKO Entertainment in Providence, Rhode Island. Our main event is Island Saturdays, each and every Saturday since 2013.
Beautiful. Ted, you know what? You have to get rid of the pictures of the wife in the background because I don't have any pictures of my wife in the background of mine. And you're just making me look really bad.
All right, I'll switch next time. I'll switch to basement.
Thank you.
Posters down there.
There he is, full screen. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing well. It's my name's Anil Batra, photojournalist, the Contra Music Journal. Been all over the world with reggae music. Goa Sunsplash, here in New York, locally, Boston, Sumfest, on and on. You've been to Europe several times, festivals I've covered. This is a grateful event here, and Bobby Shake's been my friend for more than 20 plus years, so we go way back.
Thank you so much, Neil. Thank you so much. Hold on a second. Let me turn down my. So what I would like to start with, because this is the hot topic, Protoje. Who would like to tackle Protoje first? Pat, would you like to tackle it first? What you think about it and the direction and the music?
Sure. Yes. Well, I love Protoje. I think he's, before we even get into like the album or the performance, I just think he's doing great things for reggae music overall. I was privileged. I attended his festival a couple of months back in Jamaica, the Lost in Time Festival. Very well run. I mean, like clockwork. I've never been to a festival in Jamaica that ran as punctually as that festival did. And beautiful surroundings in Hope Gardens in Kingston, beautiful setup. I mean, the stage designs, and it had two stages, a main stage, side stage. So you were never without music going on, and very, like the few minutes between one act to the next, which is something that has plagued a lot of festivals in Jamaica. I've been to so many over these decades, and the band changes, it can be a bit daunting, especially festivals that go on to 5, 6 in the morning, you know, by 2 a.m. you don't want silence, because that could, you know, that could mean your exit from the venue because you're just so tired. But this was another thing. It was very early hours. It began at like 6 o'clock at night, and the second night was the later night, and it finished at 11 p.m. So I love that he's, with all that he's doing, he's such a busy touring artist and always recording, always putting out something new, producing rhythms, recording other artists on those, in addition to his own work, managing Leela, mentoring other artists. In addition to all of that, that he would find time to take on the responsibility of a festival. I think it's a great thing for Jamaican music in this generation, to see that showcase for his peers, his contemporaries. It was a very, very important thing that he did, I felt, for the end of Reggae Month, which is February, and the first day of March, a 2-day festival. So I hope he can keep it going. I hope he will keep it going, despite his other commitments. But to speak now about his current album, The Art of Acceptance, I think it's his best effort to date.
Really?
Yeah, I love, produced by Winter James. There's some other producers on it, and Protoje also has a hand in the production. But I think the Winter Protoje combination, I think, is one of the strongest in reggae music right now. I loved, even back in the day, like 11 years ago, they collaborated on Ancient Future. I think that's another really strong entry in a wonderful catalog that he has. But what I really like about the Art of Acceptance, we know Protoje to be a very experimental kind of artist. Yeah, it's reggae, but there's a lot of hip hop there. There's a lot of other things going on. But with this, yeah, there are some tracks truly that are experimental, but it really is a return to roots reggae and some classic dancehall sounds. So I think they did a great job. With the production is outstanding. I think the lyrics are very good. You know, I know that I may be taking us off stream. I don't mean to, but there's a debate, of course, raging right now. Like, artists are no longer burning fire, and we need to get back to that in the genre. And yes, that certainly has its place. Reggae music is known for that. And so many of the greats from the golden age of the 70s made their mark burning that fire. But at the same time, it's not for every artist to do. So while this album might not be burning fire in that most blazing sense, it does burn it in certain ways on certain things. But the bottom line is, whether you're burning fire, whether it's a romantic song, whether it's a reality tune, you want it to be great songs. I think that's the bottom line of any genre, is having great songs. And I think he's really succeeded with that with this album. It's just a collection of very, very good songs. So and it was great to hear some of them as part of the show that he did the other night at Racket here in New York City.
Anil, I muted you. Little noise over there, Neil. What, you got the fan on, Anil? Jeez,
no, I do not know what it is. I do apologize.
It's okay. We'll fire you after this show. Anil, you were able to cover the show in New York City. How did you feel? How did you feel? Did it bring you back old school? Are you excited? Are you invigorated? Because last week you weren't really happy with dancehall and reggae. After this show, did you get a second wind to love the genre again?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely wasn't dancehall, but it was roots reggae music, the way that it was intended to be. It was a bit. I was blown away by the opening act, Nesta. I was very impressed by his performance. It's like Lovers Rock all over again. I could have sworn the man was British, but he's right here from Queens, New York. Very impressed. Would like to see Protoje again, hopefully soon in the near future. I know it comes like once a year, but maybe if Ted could bring him to Providence, it'd be a great time, and I'd finally come down and see you guys.
All right,
He
Anil.
goes to ocean mist when he comes here.
Hold on a second, Anil. Here, so you were at the show, and we have some images here. Can you see the images on the screen, Anil?
I do see those images.
Walk us through the images.
They're quite exquisite, I might add. Yes.
Yeah, I mean they're better than mine. I went experimental on my pictures, which I will share. I did everything with a manual focus 50 Zeiss lens. I don't know why I did that, but I was just trying to push the envelope, and the envelope fell short. So let's walk through your images here.
This is Nesta. I had to have at least one of them in there. His DJ. Yeah, I mean,
what were you feeling?
That was close enough. Passion, love. It was very, very invigorating experience, to say the least.
What was your ASA? What were your settings on this here?
I always fix things up in Lightroom at the end of the day. I did like 2500 ISO and like 2.8. 2.8. I did like probably 160 or
good
120.
Image.
Yeah, some of them are.
Yeah, I had a hard time. That's a good image.
Thank you, sir.
That's a good image. If it was a little tack sharp, that's sellable to Billboard. That's a sellable image.
Oh, that's great right there.
Yeah, that one's
that's in the way though.
Yeah, but that's definitely a sellable image.
Definitely.
That's a sellable image.
Right.
That's sellable.
Right.
That's not sellable.
What happened? What is it? What's wrong?
I don't know. His mouth is kind of like bent up.
Oh yeah, like a little different. Yeah.
Those are great images, man. Those are really cool images.
Appreciate it. I tried
good
my
images.
best.
So Ted,
yes,
you're up. Now you're a DJ. So have you heard the album yet?
I haven't listened to the whole album, but I like. We've been playing Roll for I don't know how many years since it came out from Protoje. We don't play a lot of him only because our night is more dancehall centric. However, I believe the new song with Shensia gets play, and the new song I really like, and you'll see it in my stories, and I use it a lot, is the new tune with Massacre. I think that's a wicked song. Sing Loud. So he's a real wicked artist for sure. But
nice.
I know he had mentioned about bringing it to Rhode Island. Actually, he usually comes to Rhode Island. I don't see him on the schedule this year. There's a spot down South County by the beach called the Ocean Mist, and they're the ones that usually bring all the culture artists. Like this summer, I know they have Lila Ike, Jesse Royal's going to be there, Kabaka Pyramid, because I think the crowd for that area of reggae is more heavy down South County. And it's like right on the beach, it's right on the water. So in fact, the first place I ever saw Buju was there. But that's that's where all the roots and culture artists usually go, is the Ocean Mist.
Nice. Now we have, we have the show notes, but only once in a time we have Billboard on the stream. What do you think we need to do to push the music forward? Do we need blogging, more photography? Because it seems like dancehall just sits on sites like BobbyShakes.com, Victoria.com. It's like a cult following. Like if you're not part of the Bobby Shakes cult, you really can't see the images. But we need to expand this music globally with the images and the writing. What should be our next step?
Yeah, well, that's of course a great question, and a question that has plagued the music for as long as I've been involved with it. Like, how do we get it out there more? How do we get more people, more listeners, more, just grow it from every possible angle. And I think that sometimes trying to fit a music into a mainstream path when it really exists better on the sidelines of those paths is oftentimes like that expression of trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. So I feel like, you know, channels such as this, these platforms that are devoted to reggae music, dancehall music, play such important roles. And especially now, you know, I'm from the era where, like, I started in like 1990, so we didn't even have the internet.
We didn't have the internet, right?
That's how far back it goes. And of course, social media came after that. To have all these things at our disposal, I just think it's, you know, and we see the result of it. It's like, we see that, like, yeah, as an example, like a Vibes Cartel hasn't had like a quote unquote radio hit, meaning like US radio hit, in a very long time. And yet, like, he comes out of jail and it's like he can do like 4 nights in Brooklyn. Granted, now, you know, Brooklyn may be a different animal than the rest of the country. I get it, because of our population of so many Jamaicans, so many Caribbean people, may be different. But just the fact that somebody like him, and there are others, even if it's not a venue as big as the Barclays Center, which is like 19,000 people, you have artists who, again, may not have that radio hit, so to speak, or that mainstream, you know, Billboard Hot 100 single, but they when they come out, they attract thousands of people. So obviously, you know, there's something that is going on with the music, and I wouldn't want us involved in it to sell ourselves or sell this music short, because artists are clearly doing a lot through their own promotions, through their social media, through now our ability to just share music among our peers, among our followers, that sort of thing. And I think the music has really grown, certainly from back when I started, the big thing was like dancehall artists being signed to major labels, right? So it was like this big thing, and like every label had to have many dancehall artists all trying to replicate the great success that Shabba Ranks had. And so it, you know, started a frenzy almost of artists being signed to labels. And that was great for some, maybe not so great for others, although it might have appeared like, well, that's reaching a milestone to have a major label deal, especially at that point in time, the way the music industry was structured back then. But, you know, that gave the music obviously more of a quote unquote mainstream presence, because there were these remixes done to just make sure artists could get that kind of play. They had the mainstream muscle, if you will, behind the music. So it was able to get these kind of placements that typically reggae and dancehall didn't receive. But I think now, certainly in 2026, while those things are important, and they certainly are, but there are so many other ways to hear, to consume music, to see music, that we just don't have to be so concerned with like a quote unquote mainstream, but just trying to grow the platforms that we have that are already friendly to this music. And of course, trying to make more platforms friendly to the music. That's always a goal, because, you know, you always want the numbers to be bigger. You always want more people to be aware of what the artists are doing, but to just be focused around that mainstream path of making it bigger, I don't even think at this point in time it is something that should have too much weight put on it, you know, because I'll use an example of this event that took place. It's been taking place these past few days on social media. The streamer, I think his name is iSpeed, and
I Show Speed, yeah,
and he's been going around Caribbean islands, thousands and thousands of people like watching this, and it's not on TV, it's not in a mainstream film, it's, you know, something he built, and here it is, just giving all this attention to the artists that he's visiting in Grenada or in Trinidad and Tobago or St. Martin or the other places that he's going. And I assume Jamaica will be a part of this at some point in time. So, you know, it just shows you that there's always there are other channels, and I think it's just so important to be to look at where you really have something that is amenable to you, that is friendly to you, that welcomes you, and that's why you try to grow it, rather than something that has kind of always kept its distance from you. It's like, why would you even want to give attention to something like that? You know, it may come around. It's great if it does, but it's almost like almost like running in circles and counterproductive to put attention towards something that really isn't giving you that kind of love back.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, why keep on beating a dead horse? Teddy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think she's right, and I think even back then, when a dancehall song, at least I can speak more on dancehall than anything else, even though I follow everything. But even like when Flex was on the Billboard charts, Flex wasn't built as a Billboard chart song. It just so happened that it caught on and people liked it. You know what I mean? It wasn't. He didn't sit there and Cobra didn't sit there and try and make that song and say, I want to be on the top 40. It just so happened that it translated and other people liked it and it pushed it, up the charts. And I think now with radio and stuff, I know people still listen to radio, but I don't think they listen to it even close to the same level as they did now, because as she said, there's so many different platforms to listen to the music. Case in point, I work in Connecticut, and I have a coworker one day at lunch. She randomly said, my boyfriend loves Vybz Kartel. And I'm like, how does, I didn't even register that person would even know who Vybz Kartel is. And that's kind of, goes back to what she's saying. Like, I think the music, I'd rather have it as it is now. And the reason being, and granted, if it was huge, I'd be making more money on Saturdays, which would be awesome. However, dancehall is, comes from the streets, and dancehall is a niche music. And I don't want it to get watered down to where artists are producing songs in the hopes that it's going to make the charts. I want artists producing dancehall tracks that they want them to play in the club, and they want dancehalls to play and selectors to want to play that song. That to me is more important than having, anything updated and kind of watered down so it can make the charts. Because I mean, if you think about a lot of the big dancehall hits right now, if you have to edit that and make it, and we've had a couple selectors come and play edited radio dancehall tracks, and the people in the crowd are looking at each other like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't even know what song this is. And I don't want that, you know what I mean? And I think that probably does keep some of the big dancehall hits from making the charts in the present day. But that's fine by me, because I don't even keep the radio edits on my computer. I delete them like right when they come through.
All right, and Neil, you're up here. Let me unmute you. And Neil, hold on a second here. Neil, you're still a little noisy. All right, there you go, Papa. Anil, unmute your microphone.
I'm back. Yeah, great.
There you go.
So, there's a lot of different platforms, like Pat had said, not just radio, because radio, it's important, but it's not as important as it was before in the past. Especially in Boston, when they had college radio, was like the big platform for the genre.
Right.
WERS. Was a major platform in Boston at this time. But now I think more or less community access television is getting a huge following for this music, and Spotify and all the streaming platforms. That's what everyone's getting all these songs from, and it's able. Even AI is coming into play, so you can auto generate a playlist. Like I created a playlist on my Spotify for Reggae Sumfest last year, and it played. It's been playing forever. I think it's important to keep like reggae, or to keep dancehall at its prime availability, and uncut and unadulterated. It has to be like a raw format, because it's from the streets, So everything goes up and down, especially in reggae music, and the highest form was the 90s era, And now it's making a comeback because all these guys are now signed on major labels like the Valiant and, you know, Tifa and Sking and Tommy Lee. All these guys are signed on like major labels, not just like going with like small fry VP. It says the most out of it. I'm just excited about, you know, new upcoming artists coming to the States, because every time, you know, it's the same repetition again and again and again. People that are safe bets to make money, because a lot of the time, you know, you bring a dancehall artist that you might know but not everyone knows. You might just like lose a lot of capital in the investment in the planning of the event. So it's got its ups and its downs when you come to think of it.
I hear you. I hear you. What was your favorite song on the Protoje album, Pat?
Wow, there were quite a few. I mean, I loved it had been released before, but I love the song Big 45. I thought that was really cool. It just had a great kind of like a classic dancehall sort of vibe to it, and I really like that. What Ted said, the song with Massacre, is another big favorite of mine. I really like that one too. He had a more of a somber song towards the end of the album, more reflective than somber, In Your Corner, talking about people in his life who've been very significant. I asked him about it when I interviewed him. He said it was just a composite. It wasn't for any one person, but to those who've been significant to his life. I thought that was a really beautiful song. And the song with Shensia is really nice. I believe it's called Goddess. And that's a very cute, you know, male, female, back and forth. And the producer, Winter James, told me, you know, they were going for the Papa San Lady G collab from the 90s, and or the Shaba and Crystal type things, you know, and it's like that, very engaging and very, very, very cute and very clever, but really catchy, you know. So I think I'd say those, you know, but really there's also another track. Wow, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It features Pressure Busspipe, the wonderful singer from St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, and that is a great track. I know it's I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's
The Locust.
The Locust, yes. Thank you for that. Yes, that I think is a very, you know, now that's not reggae or dancehall. It's more of like a kind of like a trap sounding beat to it, but the lyrics are really powerful in that. I was speaking about, you know, burning fire earlier. That I'd say is doing that in that song, and Protoje sounds great on that, and Pressure is just absolutely amazing on that. So yeah, I'd say those, you know. You asked for one, I gave you about 6, but
no,
there's a lot of great tracks on there.
How was your experience with Protoje backstage? Like, how was that experience? Like, explain that experience to the fans that are watching.
Well, at the show in New York, I wasn't backstage, but I, you know, as I mentioned, I was in Kingston a couple of months ago for the festival, and then a few days after the festival ended, I got the chance to sit down with him and interview him at a hotel in Kingston. And, you know, he is very, what I like about talking to him is he is so well versed in just music generally, but obviously like Jamaican music, its history, its heroes, its, you know, its heroes, whether they're celebrated or unsung. He's very well versed in that, and it's really, I really love that. And speaking to any artist, like they may not be, he will call names of people who maybe even passed before he was born, and he will reference them as an influence or something they did on a track as being, you know, so special, like that type of thing. And one thing that my first meeting with Protoje actually was way back in like 2015 when he had Ancient Future, which I mentioned earlier. And he, back then he told me what a fan he was of Sly and Robbie and how they were like the ultimate producers in his life, the most influential. And we know that the track he has, Kingston Be Wise, which, you know, one of his early breakthrough tracks, which he performed the other night, he samples them, right? So he just mentioned them throughout interviews, that how impactful they've been to his whole evolution, and sonically what he hears in his head is so influenced by Sly and Robbie. So now, you know, fast forward to March 2026, Sly had recently passed away. Robbie, as we know, had passed a few years earlier. So, you know, it's just like now talking about them as ancestors rather than people who we could call up or could go sit and talk with, you know. And he could see he was visibly upset that, you know, they are no more in the physical sense, that he could reason with them, talk to them, get inspiration from them. I mean, he still can from the music, but he also on the level of just being able to converse with them about, how did you put this track together? How did you do this? How did you come up with that? You know, that experience is no longer available to him. But I love that he pays homage to them at every point in time in interviews, and even in watching the band the other night. Again, I go so far back that I had the experience of seeing Sly and Robbie perform many times, even in the Black Uhuru phase, and I could hear so much of that influence in Protoje's band, the Indiggnation. I mean, they even before Protoje came out, the female singers were singing Shine Eye Gal, and I believe they, towards the end, they with his song Hail Rastafari, they put in I Love King Selassie, another Black Uhuru song. So, and just in the sound of that band, and just in the band is great. They've really evolved over the years too. But I could just hear that Sly Dunbar, Robbie Shakespeare, drum and bass influence so pervasive in the sound of the band. So I, you know, to get back to your question, but my favorite thing in speaking to him is just how attuned he is to the history of Jamaican music, its evolution, his various heroes within it, and that he's always willing to call names of those who've been so important on this journey for his sound being what it is today.
That's awesome. I'm going to roll to a video. So he came to Boston. I think it was here. Was it Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. And J. Cool, you know J. Cool. We were able to sit down with Protoje. I'm just going to roll that.
Respect. Yes.
Proto, the brand new album in stores right now. It's called The Art of Acceptance.
Yes.
Yeah, my favorite track on it. Whenever I hear it tonight, but it's all good. The one with Something I Said.
Ah, yes, Jesse's song. You know, so it's our vibes, man. That song there is a pertinent song. We love the energy. The whole album give me such a great energy now. So I'm very thankful. So we're outside with it, I tour it across America and Europe and UK and the world, you know.
So the Art of Acceptance, brand new album in stores right now. I mean, how did you come up with this name, The Art of Acceptance?
Well, it's just life. You have to understand. You have denial, acceptance, and forgiveness. And I never really want to talk about the denial part. I can go through that by myself, and we just focus on the acceptance of things, of life, of things you can't change, of friends, of family, of hardships, of ups and downs, and we just deal with all of it and come out of it radiant and whole, you know.
Nice. What's your favorite track on the album?
Well, it's too soon for that, you know, but I mean, there's a song called The Locust that I think embodies the whole project. I started with that. It's just very different, and I really like how it sounds. Yes, man.
It's dope. Brand new album. I just bought the vinyl, so y'all got to go out and get it ASAP.
Yes, man, of course. Of course.
Yeah, and it features so many different artists.
Yeah, we have Damien Jr. Gang Marley, legend. We have Stephen Raga Marley, the teacher. And we have Shensi and Massacre on it.
Mad.
And as me said,
Dancehall
Jesse.
thing. Yep,
yeah,
yep,
man.
yep.
And then Locust with Pressure is a crazy tune too, you know.
Oh,
man.
man. I mean, Locust with Pressure is a problem. So
Yeah, we just gave a little sneak preview here. J. Cool was really impressed with that song Locust, how Pressure towards the end just goes on a tangent. And Protoje said they just let him go. Like, they didn't want to stop the vibe. They're like, we just let him go. And Protoje said he didn't even feel like to come back in on the song. He was just like, hey, man, you won. It was great. I'm out of here. Teddy, what do you think?
I mean, I'd have to go check the song. I have not heard that song. Again, my favorite song is the Massacre song. I think that's a wicked, wicked, wicked song on that album. Like, that's tops for me. And I love the Shensia song. Those are the two main songs that I heard from that album. But to me, the Massacre song is top. Like, I feel like that song will be played in the dance and everything.
All right, Anil, what says you? Unmute your mic, Anil.
Oh, sorry.
My goodness.
Art of Acceptance is a really wonderful album. There's a lot of different acts on this one album, and it's really like a masterpiece. It's 13 songs long. In your corner, only because my own trials and tribulations, I always remember the people who, you know, was there for me with my time of need, and those who, you know, kind of opened up doors when I needed them the most to be open. So it's like paying homage to those before us, and it's quite important in life to remember, you know, those who gave sacrifice for us to get ahead, or for us to get opportunity. So that's kind of like my favorite song off the album, to be honest.
All right, hold on one second. I'm going to pull up some of my images here. We could keep the Protoje train rolling here. Now, this is J. Cool, the interview, and that's Pressure in the back there. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. Yeah, that's Pressure in the background. Not Pressure. I got Pressure. Nesta. Jeez Louise. We know who this is, right? Do you know who this is, Teddy? On the right here with her Protoje?
I can't see that good. I can't recognize.
That's
Is
Peter
Tosh's. Is that Peter Tosh's daughter?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Let me flip through real quick. I took better interview pictures than I did actual stage pictures.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know why I went with a 50 millimeter manual focus. I don't know what I was thinking. I think this is my
Did you go
best.
at 1.4, or what was like? A 50 is always a great lens for concerts. I know that.
Yeah, it's a great lens, but for some reason, I don't know. But I think this is my best image that I got. It's my favorite.
From behind, I never like going on stage with the band because I always get like the back of the artist. I don't like.
Well, you always shoot front of house or in front of house or back of house?
Well, the whole perspective is to give the audience like how they perceive the concert.
Right.
You know, and they get to see like the faces of the artist as opposed to seeing the back of the head of the artist. I get invited sometimes to go on the stage, but I don't like doing it like that.
Oh. All right, now let's get a little controversial. King of the Dancehall, Pat, you're up. Is it Vibes Cartel or is it Beanie Man? Uh-oh.
Well, like, I don't even know that why we have to designate such a title.
Right. Exactly.
But it's if one were to designate such a title, what would it be based upon? Would it be based upon the amount of records they sold or the amount of streams and followers that they have? Would it be based upon the amount of concert tickets that they sell? Would it be based upon the quality of their music and the #1 hits they've had in Jamaica? Like, what are we basing this on? And, you know, why is it just between the two of them? I mean, I understand the whole dust up that happened, though, so that's why we are talking about the two of them. But, you know, why aren't there other people in the consideration if we're talking about sales and visibility and, you know, to your point earlier about mainstream and, you know, hit songs? Like, why isn't Sean Paul in the conversation, or a Shaggy who's in
Wow.
the,
Wow.
you know? But if you know, if we're talking about pioneers who helped pave the way to get where we are today, why isn't Yellow Man still in the conversation?
Wow.
I'm not sure what this is based on. So I'm going to say when it comes to dancehall music, I rather an oligarchy than a monarchy.
Okay, I'll narrow it down for you. Let's talk about the criteria to be king of the dancehall. It's going by an artist that helped move the culture forward.
Well, you know, so many. Yellow Man, undeniable. Shabba Ranks, undeniable on that criteria. And many of the other criteria that I mentioned. Buju Banton, undeniable in moving that forward. You know, Beanie Man goes without saying. Bounty Killer. I mean, how can you talk about moving the culture forward, not mention his name? You know, so again, like if we're gonna look at that, can you really say one of those is more deserving than the other, or do they all have a place on that throne, or 5 different thrones, or 10 thrones, or whatever it has to be? I just don't understand. I mean, I get it for the debate's sake and conversation's sake, but in reality, I mean, they are all kings, and they've all done so much to move the culture forward and bring dancehall to a greater place of recognition and acceptance, and create a global fan base for the music. So, you know, I just, it's not a cop-out to say one or the other. That it's not a cop-out that I'm not choosing one or the other. It's just there's so many factors to look at.
I will say this, Teddy. That was probably one of the best answers I've ever gotten in the 30 years I've been doing this. Because
if you notice, if you pull up my last thing, what did I say about Yellow Man?
Right, you Yellow Man.
Yep, it's the same thing.
And I would even say Ninja, right? I mean, Ninja's like this. Ninja was a man that had to be at Sting. He had to be at the big events. And it's like, we just take Ninja, just throw him underneath the fence. I mean, he's done some crazy thing in his life, but we're just talking music here.
I think the problem with Ninja is like, Sting is like, when you take dancehall, dancehall's a niche, right? Sting's even like a niche of a niche. So like Ninja is the man at Sting. Like, you know, like he killed my guy Supercat that one year, and that messed up his whole career. I think it was 1992. But you know, like that was a niche of a niche, you know, and I don't know if he really never had the recording hits to the level of all the other guys that were mentioned.
No, he didn't have the recording hits, but I felt that Ninja did his thing at Sting, but he didn't keep Sting alive, right? Like the Barb's Cartel is actually going to keep some fest. I God forbid if the prices come down, maybe we'll go, but it's a lot of responsibility on Vibes Cartel to keep the Sunfest brand going, especially this year. They're only going to be one night, and that's it. Ninja Man had his thing, and I mean, I'm enamored by his ability, and he was really great in his time. But I can't put king on Ninja. I can't put that title.
Legend, yes.
Like legend, yes. Definitely a legend. Why can't we be like rock and roll? Like Elvis was the king of rock and roll, and he was like no hands down to this day. Elvis still the king of rock and roll. Why we have to like have this controversy of like passing a torch or something like that.
I agree with you 100%, Anil, because all of these gentlemen are still alive, right? Thank God that they're all still alive. To have a discussion about the king of dancehall when all the original founders are still here when we talk about dancehall, and we could be here for hours, right? About Junior Cat, Super Cat, everyone. I mean, we could be here just
Early B, you Roy, you Brown.
I mean, we could be here. We could be here all day talking about who did this and who didn't do that. And I think we've nailed it. I think it was an educated decision for us to say there's too many artists to pick the king of dancehall. I mean, it's silly. Anil, I'll let you go
Let's
first.
go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's ask Pat if you had to choose a Mount Rushmore of reggae.
Oh my
artists,
God!
Who would be your top? I mean, it's like what, 4 or 5? Like that's how many people
full
are Mount
screen
Rushmore
for Pat.
anyway?
Full screen for you, Pat. He called you out.
So, Anil, this is for reggae artists or dancehall artists?
I don't know, Bobby. What do you think? Both?
I think we do one of each. One Mount Rushmore. One Mount.
How many people are Mount
Rushmore
Rushmore anyway?
There's only 4 people on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
All right,
so we're talking 2 different Mount Rushmore. All right. For reggae, well, these would be, again, how do we quantify all these things? So I guess it's subjective. People that I love would be Peter Tosh, Joseph Hill of Culture, Bob Marley, of course, and let's see, a 4th of reggae. Wow, it'd be, there's so many, because if I call like another name, that's the end, and I know there's others. I mean, I love Garnet Silk, but maybe wouldn't put him on the mountain because the career was so short. But then look at what he did in the short time that he was here with us. Like he's still an influence in the he's been gone over 30 years and he's still an influence, and he died in his 20s. So I love Luciano from back in the day, but I think for my 4th slot, I think I put Beres there.
Yes.
And that is your reggae Mount Rushmore. Do you want Pat to give a dancehall Mount Rushmore too?
Sure. All right. Okay. The dancehall Buju for sure. Okay. Shaba. Yellow Man. And wow. Oh wow, the same dilemma. I like if I could split the final one, but I guess Vibes Cartel. But I would, I could easily add another 4 and then maybe another 4.
Right.
That's just off the top of my head. 4. If I looked at the list on paper, I'd probably be, oh no, take that one off and put somebody else, because it's very hard to list just 4 people in these genres that have produced so many exceptional talents.
There you go, Teddy. Mount Rushmore. We need 4 for reggae, 4 for dancehall. I don't understand why Anil split up the genre of music. You know me. If it's from Jamaica, it's called reggae. Whether it's one drop, dancehall, reggae, but let's add more division in the world. So I need 4 reggae for reggae Mount Rushmore and 4 dancehall.
So it's very tough for me because I love, that's all I listen to is Jamaican music. So for reggae, you have to go with Bob Marley as one of them. I don't think it's proper to leave him off the list. For me, I'd also add, it's a personal favorite, so it might not be everyone's, but I love Delroy Wilson, the late great. I would add him for me for Mount Rushmore. So you have Bob Marley, you have Delroy Wilson, and I'm also going to say Beres Hammond, because I could listen to Beres Hammond at any point, any day, and I could listen to the same song 10 times straight, and it doesn't bother me. Like, Beres is up there. And the last one is really tough for me, and I hate to copy. I want to be like different, but I'm going to have to say for reggae, it's got to be Peter Tosh. And reason being is, besides being a great artist, like Bob Marley wouldn't even know how to play the guitar if it wasn't Peter Tosh. So if he didn't teach Bob Marley the guitar, where would Bob Marley be? You know what I mean? Like, so to me, they're all intertwined.
You really just say that you just really just said that on a live stream?
Well, I'm pretty sure that's factual.
Oh, wow. That's
right.
I
mean, I'm pretty sure if you look it up, Peter Tosh taught Bob Marley the guitar. Pretty sure. But if I'm wrong, then y'all can roast me.
Don't worry. The internet's undefeated. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying that was a hot take.
Yeah, well, it's just something. It's something to ponder. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know. And for dancehall, I'm gonna go with obviously for I think Vybz Kartel is on there for sure, and I have to say Yellow Man. I mean, I grew up with Yellow Man. Yellow Man is on there for sure. The other two are definitely a little more difficult for me. I'm gonna have to go with Bounty Killer. Bounty is one of my personal favorites, and I believe that if you look at the dancehall family tree, a lot of artists between Vybz Kartel and Bounty Killer, a lot of artists came from those two artists. Like, those two artists busted a lot of people that are huge now. So I think Bounty's on there, Vybz Kartel's on there, Yellow Man. The fourth one is really, really tough for me because I have favorites. But again, like, one of my favorite dancehall artists of all time, he passed away. He was young. He didn't make a lot of hits. And so I'm not going to put him on here, but I will mention him because he's wicked, and that's Major Worries. So I got to say big up Major Worries. So I would, but I can't put him on there because he didn't have, like Pat had said about Garnet Silk, like, the body of work was awesome when it was there, but it's just not that extensive of a body of work. So my fourth in the dancehall genre is, oh man, this is tough. Very tough one for me. Because a lot of the older artists have a small body of work that are wicked, like Early B, Toyin.
Wow.
Such a small, body of work, but they're all such great artists. I'm gonna have to put I'm gonna have to put Early B as my fourth, because in my mind, like, there would be no Supercat if there was no Early B. So I gotta put Early B on there as my fourth on the dancehall Mount Rushmore. And R.I.P. Early B, killed in Boston at the Windsor Cricket Club.
Killed in Boston, yes. Okay, Anil, this is your question. You better have 4 names to rattle off real quick and go.
It's quite difficult, actually, because it's quite predictable. Gosh. Of course, it's going to be Bob Marley on Mount Rushmore. Peter Tosh, Dennis Brown. I don't know why anybody else didn't say Dennis.
Oh my God, I forgot Dennis.
And of course, Beres Hammond. I just love his body of work. Everyone thought he was an American when he first buzzed. Very surprising. And my dancehall Mount Rushmore was very predictable because, of course, Vybz Kartel is going to be the biggest face on the mountain itself. I think Bounty as well. Supercat, only because he's Indian, and Yellow Man, nevertheless.
Only because he's Indian. What does that? What does that even mean? You know what? I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm kind of heartbroken that nobody is gonna put Lee, Scratch, Perry on the Mount Rushmore.
I think he's on the producer Mount Rushmore.
No. He gave reggae to Bob Marley.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He dub. He has to be in the Mount Rushmore. No.
I don't know, but then you're gonna have to put, like, studio, the guy Coxzone, like Dodd. You're gonna have to put all those guys on there too. That's tough.
Duke Reed. Great Duke.
Maybe I'll take off Beres and put up Lee Scratch Perry. Okay, I'll kick off Perry.
Thank you. I needed that. All right.
I think he needs. I think we need another mountain for the producer. I agree with that.
Can we pull this off? Can we go to like the Blue Mountains and just like do they wouldn't allow us to do this, right? Actually build like a reggae route.
I think a reggae Mount Rushmore would be. I don't think that could even be done. And I don't even think the King of Dancehall can be done. I don't think any of these things can be done. We're just talking nonsense on stream, right? Because we're just trying to fill time, but there's so many artists that gave so much. And then when we go to producers, we can talk about King Jammies, we could talk about Weepo, we could talk about CD Kelly. With the rhythms that basically held dancehall up throughout the 90s, and the dancehall that we all love. That's Tony Kelly, CD Kelly, Shocking Vibes, Penthouse. Yeah, I think it's just an impossible thing to even talk. I don't know why.
Junjo Laws, don't forget Junjo Laws.
Yeah,
Junjo Laws. Yeah, that was amazing.
And then for producers, there's also Lanky. I just watched something on him with the Diwali. That was crazy.
I gotta big up my boy Sean Nizzle. Big up Sean Nizzle.
Sean Nizzle. My friend Don Coleone, who is from the same neighborhood where Protoje's from, or the same neighborhood where my grandparents, my grandma, and my granddad is from. I just don't think.
You know what this means? This whole crazy conversation. If you think about all the people we're talking about and all these amazing musicians, producers, everything, they all came from a tiny, tiny little island, Jamaica, which is unbelievable.
Less than 1 million people, the size of Connecticut.
Unbelievable. I'm doing a shot.
Surrounded by
in honor of that.
To Jamaica. It's a global phenomenon. Yeah.
It's all right. Who here is upset that Bob Marley's locks didn't sell at auction? Who wants to handle that one? Pat, you want to handle that one?
I'll just say, I was really surprised to read that today. That's the first I'm hearing about it, that his lock didn't sell. And I think, though, in reading it, there was also the explanation there, which I agree with, that, maybe according to Rasta, that would just be like a crazy thing to want to buy, for someone to even want to buy something like that, so plus, do we really know that it's Bob Marley's lock? Could it be from somebody else? It's not like you're buying a suit that Michael Jackson wore in 1980 and you can look it up and see, yeah, he was really wearing that, or Marilyn Monroe's dress or something like that. We don't know that this was Bob Marley's lock. So I'm kind of, even though the world is crazy for Marley merchandise and memorabilia and all of that, I'm not really that surprised that it didn't sell. I'm more surprised that I never heard of it until tonight.
Teddy, do you want to touch it or no?
I think we spoke about it before. I don't even understand. I think it's, I wouldn't vote. Even if I was rich, it's not something I would bid on. Unless the money was going to some kind of charity or something like that. Otherwise, I just don't even see. Like she said, how do we know that's his number one? Number two, even if it is his, is it sanitary? I don't know. Is that, I don't know. What do you do with that? How do you display that? I don't know. It just seems odd to me.
Yeah, I think two things would be pretty weird to show your friends: some art that you stole from the Louvre and Bob Marley's locks. Those are two things that you how do you explain that and share that to people? And Neil, what says you? I think you want to buy it.
Nah, I'm not, like Teddy said, the sanitation grade of the lock and the can you really certify that this was from Bob? I mean, it could have been from like
Probably a DNA test.
Joe
You could probably do a
Schmo,
DNA
yeah.
test. You could do a DNA test to see, but then that gets really weird. Like that just seems an infringement on the family.
But how would you display it though? That's the next question. How do you display the locks? I mean,
I think you just put it in a glass case.
Nah, I think I'll pass.
I feel like I'd be embarrassed, like if they said, "How much did you pay for that?" Oh, I paid $25,000 for a piece of hair. Like that's just outrageous.
25 British pounds, which is like, you know what,
50 G's.
Yeah, 50 US dollars.
I mean, what you could do, I mean, in the age of AI, you could strip the DNA from the hair, and then you could clone Bob Marley in your laboratory.
And make dub plates. There you go. Every sound
and make Bob Marley dub plates. Pat, where do you see dancehall heading? Are we in a good year? Are we back to the golden era of dancehall? I feel like we are.
No, far from it.
I'm glad you do. I'm glad you feel like that. I can't say I do, but I think there's been some exciting things happening, some really interesting things happening. So that's always a good sign. Whether it leads to another golden age, I don't know, but I don't have any reason to see that it is or it isn't, but can say there's some very good things happening and really interesting rhythms coming out and some good artists emerging. So I just hope that, somehow we can move forward and continue to see some things happening that are distinct from one another rather than one artist has a hit, so everyone tries to do the same thing. But I like when people come with something very different, like this new rhythm by Stephen McGregor. I love that he, by doing something different, he went as far back as you can go in Jamaican music with Mento. And I think was a nice change from so much of what we're hearing and really connecting, and a lot of great songs on there, like Massacre and others who've done some things, and many more to be released now. So yes, a golden age. I will reserve judgment on that, but moving in a positive direction for sure.
All right, Teddy, what do you think? Golden age or I'm crazy?
I mean, I think starting with the YFL rhythm, I think it's kind of moving, in a good direction. But that Hill and Gully rhythm, to me, because I'm a purist of reggae music, and that Hill and Gully rhythm's wicked. The Massacre song's wicked. This past weekend, Paul Michael dropped that, and we had a good Ghetto Hype from Boston was there, and he was chilling, and I think he was even shocked because Paul played the Hill and Gully with Massacre, and then he went right into, I think it was the Duke Reed version from way back in the day, and it was like, it was so cool to hear the two songs back to back, you know what I mean? And I think having rhythms like that brings dancehall back, because that's how dancehall used to be. Like, I know there was a lot of complaints about the other rhythm and there's 200 artists on it. Okay, but back in the day, like if you went to the record store, you get a Green Sleeves record of like some rhythm you never heard of with like 20 songs on it. I mean, there was even like, I like the Sail Away rhythm. It's not a big rhythm, didn't play much, but you could go get a Green Sleeves record of the Sail Away rhythm because there was like 15 tracks on it, on that rhythm. And that's dancehall, and I think I know DJs complain about it and stuff, but hey, you just got to pick the favorite songs that you like and play those songs. That's it. You don't have to play 20 songs, but 200 songs or whatever. You just pick what you like. And the fact that there are rhythms out there that every artist wants to jump on, I think it energizes the creativity of the dancehall artist. And they try and one up each other on the song, on the rhythm. And I think that's just going to be good for dancehall. I can't see that being a bad thing at all.
Teddy, you know what? I kind of agree with you. Any DJ that says they do not like so many artists on the rhythm, we call those kids COVID DJs. Right? They just became a DJ during COVID. I'm 51 years old. I DJ'd. I still have my record collection. I shouldn't have said that because I want anybody to know that I have all my records. I'm the only guy that still have their own records. When I would go to Jamaica, my dad would be like, "You're going to go and see your grandma." I only brought back in the day, right? Air Jamaica that Pat was saying, you fly in Air Jamaica, I would bring 2 suitcases. One was empty, one had clothes. The other suitcase was to go to the record shop and bring back records back to America. Because in Jamaica at that time, it was $65 for 1 7-inch, and that was basically $1 US.
Yep.
You would go into the record shop, and there would be a selector selecting the music and one guy handing him the records. And on one rhythm, it would be, let me paint the picture because this is crazy. A lot of you young kids don't understand this. You go into the record shop, there's a DJ in the record shop, and there's a clerk handing the DJ records. And he's just giving you 30 seconds, and you put your hand up, and they frisbee you the record. One rhythm could have, honestly, 100 artists on it.
Yeah, Joyride, Showtime, Diwali. There's a million songs on the rhythm.
There's a million songs, and that's Jamaica, right? So now we're talking, let's say you go to Europe at a record shop. You're getting the Jamaican artists, you're getting the German artists, you're getting the English artists, you're getting the African artists. Like, it was an abundance, and as a young kid, I could not afford more than 10 songs per rhythm. You know, I had to get the Bounty, the Beanie, the Sizzler. Cartel wasn't around. Well, he came later. Captain Barkey, Silver Cat, Baby Sham. Yeah, I mean, I don't like when people say that the YFL is not good because there's too many artists on the rhythm. That's because you're not from this era, and that's because you're young. You learn how to spin during COVID. I mean, that's it. Anil, what says you, my friend?
Favorite rhythm was Coolie Dance rhythm.
No, that's not the question, Anil. The question is, are we in the golden era?
Far from it. Nah, I don't think so. Nah,
wow.
I don't think that ship is sailed already.
Wow.
We're like, you know how they have the lottery pick and they tank the season? We're taking the season now and waiting for a lottery pick to come. That's the way I feel about dancehall currently in this state of affair. Last year was a lot better for dancehall only because Cartel came back, and now everything, as far as dancehall goes, so much redundancy. Like, there is a lot of people on the rhythm. Like, a lot of people on the rhythm should not be on the rhythm. You know, so
I mean, I challenge you, Neil.
Yeah,
I mean, back in the day, there was 50, 60 songs on one rhythm. So, I mean, why are we?
And I would buy about 30 of those songs, honestly.
Right. So what's wrong? What we cannot.
Too much flash in the pan artists. Too much flash in the pan artists. Like, you're gonna be like one hit wonders, and then you hear.
I mean, let's talk about one hit wonders.
No longevity. Yeah.
So I could go back into my record collection of all the records I own. I have every rhythm on record, and I would say there's only 10 good songs on each rhythm that still get played today. So the redundancy has always been there. I just don't want us to forget about it. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, point taken, obviously. Point taken, absolutely. I'm still sick on 90s dancehall as being the golden age of this genre.
All right. I'm going to keep you right there. Keep you right there. Dancehall today, and I know you don't agree with this at all. I feel that dancehall now has been revived with Cartel, and now with this rhythm, I think we're going to get more rhythms. Do you think that Cartel can save dancehall, Anil, or is this just a flash in the pants?
We always got to root for the underdog in every aspect. But his lack of stage presence, even then and even now, it's really gonna be his Achilles. His production, his music, his creativity it speaks volumes, honestly. But once you actually go out there and you see him for what he is, it's a different beast, to say the least.
Wow. I mean, you went to Protoje, and I thought you were energized. I thought you were reinvigorated. You had some beta carotene, and you're healthy, and you're eating right. And now you've it's like you died on me, like you're eating cupcakes. Pat, what do you say? Can cartel save us or no?
Well, we obviously, you can't talk about cartel and not talk about the extraordinary set of circumstances that have led to this cartel, as I mentioned earlier, selling out all these nights in the Barclays Center here in Brooklyn, 19,000 people per show. But, what is, and other places around the US that he's been able to sell out similar size venues, and in the different Caribbean countries and so forth, maybe not as large as that, but commanding $1 million plus fee in many of these places. You can't ignore this set of circumstances. He was incarcerated for 13 years, and then beyond that, he's out today because he beat the system. He and his lawyer, against all odds, they took this to the Privy Council, and everyone was like laughing at them, like, how why are you even putting this time and effort in it? And they beat the system, which doesn't happen very often to a young, well, not young, but a Black man from the ghetto, and Jamaican man coming up against the system and totally beat it, and he's free today. So right there, that narrative becomes so singular and so extraordinary. Then you add into that now, the hit maker that he was back in the day, the prolificness with which he released music, and as you mentioned earlier, the many artists that he helped bring into the fold, Popcorn, others that he brought to prominence. So all these things, now here he is back in the flesh, and we can go see him. I agree that his performances, they're not, I don't think they're going to be rated as, in top 10 dancehall performances of all time or even of the last year. But what I will say is, like, to the people paying these $500 tickets or whatever it is to go see him, that doesn't even matter. They want him on the stage. They want to be able to hear him sing some songs, or sometimes, the shows in Brooklyn that I went to, I also went to the Kingston show, his first show when he had just come out, and
Freedom Street.
Freedom Street. The crowds were so loud. You say people want to hear him, but you really couldn't hear him because the audience was so loud and so excited, and just between the air horns and just everything going on. But I think that the appeal was just to be a part of that spectacle and a part of that history, because it is a truly phenomenal thing, So can he himself save dancehall? I don't think that's possible, and I don't think it's possible for one artist. I think I would love to see him, though, away from all of these shows and stuff. Like, I would love to see him really get in the studio and get really serious and make some classic music, a classic album if possible, but really some classic singles, so that we can look at Vybz Kartel 2026 and say, wow, this is peak as much as what he was doing around 2006, 2007, 2008. I would love to see that return of Kartel, and then we could talk, if it's not quote unquote saving dancehall, at least it's like a new chapter written in his career, that the more mature Kartel now, the 50-year-old Kartel, is really writing some things that are a little more well thought out, and a little more time taken with them. There's no need for him to have to feel, I got to release something all the time like he did back in the day, but rather to just take his time and really think about what he wants to say. And I mean, we know that many of the lyrics he does, that's his choice. But throughout his career, he's also been capable of some really, really deep things and some really powerful things. And I know that's not the totality of his catalog, but I love when he does that. And he is capable of so much more. And I would just love to see more of that Cartel, you know? So, but I don't think one artist can save dancehall. And again, you look at what set of circumstances led him to be in these arenas and commanding $1 million. And it's something most artists will not experience, thankfully, because who wants to be in jail that much of time and lose that much of your life? I mean, those are years that, you know, he will never get back, or years away from his children and all family, mom and dad and, you know, loved ones. So, you know, these are things that most artists will not experience. So therefore they cannot be in that position. Same thing with Buju, like the his Long Walk to Freedom concert. And, you know, when he came out of jail in 2019, I believe it was, and then, or 2018, and then getting the US visa and being able to sell out some places here. We saw that they had to pull back some of those shows. Maybe it was a little too ambitious to think what he can do in Brooklyn, he could then go do in Arizona or some of these other states. We saw that that just wasn't possible. But again, the narrative was so unique to him and what he'd been through. So these numbers are not typical. The numbers they've been able to do in terms of attendance are not typical dancehall numbers. They've been through very traumatic circumstances. One could argue about what led to those circumstances, but that's not this discussion tonight. But those numbers are not typical of what dancehall artists are doing. This is what happened to those artists, and their absences created this demand to see them. So we would hope that we would have artists to come along who can pack those arenas just based on the strength of their music and the popularity of their music.
All right, Teddy, I'm going to come to you. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's too much to put on one person to say, can you save dancehall? I mean, Cartel would have to release a song on the level of God is the Greatest every single week to be able to really, you know, do that. And going back to when you just spoke about, you know, Buju having to pull back on the tour and stuff, people forget that when Cartel was incarcerated, he released, I don't know how many hit songs when he was, you know, when he was locked up. So he was still a relevant artist when he got out of jail because he had released so many hits while he was in jail. Buju did not release any hits while he was in jail. He couldn't. So when he got out, it was a little bit different. So I do see how he had to pull back some of the shows because his relevant songs were a lot more older than Cartel's relevant songs. I think what could save dancehall more than anything is these rhythms. And the reason I say that is because I think what hurt dancehall for many years and still kind of does in a little bit is this. I mean, listen, I like it. I like the tunes. We have to play the songs. But a lot of the trap dancehall, it's like, it's okay, but it has a very short shelf life. So you get a hit trap dancehall song. It might be a hit for a month or two. Then you don't play that song anymore. So I think that hurts dancehall more than anything because those songs also, a lot of those trap dancehall gunman tunes are good. You got to play them, but they alienate like the females in the dance. And you want to have the females engaged in the dance just as much as the males, you know what I mean? Because it's a dance hall. So I think these rhythms can bring back the dancehall vibe a lot quicker than one alone single artist can do. Because I think it'll challenge the artist, the younger artists as well, to be able to ride these rhythms, these classic field dancehall rhythms, and hopefully produce better songs and better content that'll have a longer shelf life than the songs that they release now.
All right, Anil, what says you?
I'm thinking Vybz Kartel is still a wonderful artist, no doubt. What's gonna really bring back dancehall? I guess more artists, more promoters willing to take chances and bringing on the artists here to the States. Um, America's got the biggest market for this music. If you could sell here, you could sell anywhere in the world. A lot of people think that just because they bust in Jamaica doesn't mean that they're gonna bust here, but it doesn't really work like that. I don't know. I don't really have an answer for the savior of dancehall, unfortunately. I mean, we always tend to cheer for the underdog. We like to see Cartel do it, but is it feasible? No, not really. Maybe dancing could bring back dance hall, like more ding dong, more interesting dances that go along with the dance hall. That could really, am I grasping that strong? That's
No,
why
but I think you're right. That's why we got to move away a little bit from the trap dance hall, because I think that affects the dancing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's short lived. This trap dance hall it's very short lived. It doesn't really have a shelf life. We need something that's going to be played in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Longevity is everything with this music. That's why so many people are fans of 90s genre dancehall versus today's dancehall.
Teddy, let's talk about Island Saturdays, because and Neil just queued you up. How do you feel with events like Island Saturdays with the YFL rhythm? Pat said that Cartel is selling out these venues. Could we return to the golden era, because your night is written like we're in the golden era? So
like what he was saying with the dancing, like that is
the
focus of our night. You know what I mean? Like dancing is, to me, from the beginning, dancing is a very, very important aspect of dancehall. I have embraced the dancing culture from day one. Any dance that wants to come to my party, they never pay, because in my opinion, they add to the dance. And I think it's a very, very important aspect. Luckily, we have dancers that will dance to even the trap dance hall, and they'll come up with dances for everything. But when you're talking about the general crowd and the amount of people there, like, it's very effective to have a real dance hall dance that the whole crowd can get involved with. And that goes back to also making the dances danceable. Like, you don't have to practice it, for 100 hours before you go into the club, because some of the dances get kind of complicated. But I think because at the end of the day, dancehall, it's a way to escape. It was the way for people in the ghetto to get out and have fun and forget about their troubles and sing about their troubles. And I think we have to get back to that. Like, that's what I try and do with Island Saturdays. That's like my main focus, is I want to be as authentic as possible. That's why the vibe we try and recreate is like, when someone comes from Jamaica and they come to our party, they're like, oh wow, like, I didn't know this existed in America. And that's kind of like what I try to push, because I think that's like dancehall. Dancehall is fun. Dancehall is going out and doing the dances and sweating and having a good time. And that's, to me, that's dancehall. Like when I was at Weddy Wednesdays and it was like 100 degrees outside, everyone's sweating. They had this weird crew from Japan doing all the dances in Weddy Wednesdays and stuff. And I was looking around, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And that's really what we need to try and create. Really, that's what we have to do.
Teddy, we're gonna stay with you. How was Island Saturdays?
It was slow to begin the year. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be slow until gas prices come down, because we had a lot of people come from far. But it was solid this week. It's been solid every week since we had Richie. And I think it's gonna, now's the time when it picks up, and we're really hoping. Right now, there's legislation on the table in Rhode Island for June and July, when the World Cup is in Foxborough, to allow clubs and bars to serve till 3 and stay open till 4. If that goes through, it's Saturday. We already got some calls out. We're trying to line up, guests, and if that happens, it'll be pretty nice summer for Island Saturdays for sure.
Could you imagine all the rodents from Boston doing 2 a.m. and then rushing to Rhode Island?
Oh my God.
There'll be a lot of speeding tickets on 95 South.
Well, back in the day when we had Island Saturdays at the last Alchemy location, it was served till 2 and stay open till 3. So that was definitely a benefit for us at the time. When we moved locations, the new zone in Providence that we're in, they didn't allow that anymore, so we couldn't recreate that. But it'll be big. It'll be definitely a big deal for sure. I just gotta restock our Magnum tonic wine's been out for 2 weeks and people are complaining, so I gotta figure out how to get that back.
Ooh.
But the Ray and Nephew still flows freely on Island Saturdays. So.
Wow. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. This has been a good hour and a half. Pat, what are you working on right now?
I'm actually working on, I'm editing a book written by one of the founders of Reggae Sunsplash. So there's a lot of great history in that, a lot of tremendous stories, and hopefully it will be, the editing's nearly done and he has work to do on it, but beyond my role, and hopefully it will be ready by the summer to come out. So the man's name is Don Green, one of the original founders of Reggae Sunsplash. 4 gentlemen founded Reggae Sunsplash. 2 are living, and Don resides up here in New York. So that's something to look out for a little later in the year. So that's taking so much of my time. I've had to step back from some of the freelancing that I want to continue to do, because this is just so all-encompassing of my time, but it's winding down. So, I'll hopefully get back on the writing, the article writing within the next month or so.
All right, Pat, I have you. I'm going to ask you a question. If I want to be a journalist, what should I do?
Well, probably don't well, if you want to be a journalist and actually like have a a sizable, or I'd say a steady income, don't specialize in reggae. That I could tell you from the outset. But if it's really a passion, which it was for me all those years ago and continues to be, then you just find your way through it, but it's just been a lot of it's a lot of rejection all the time. I'm like pitching stories all the time and getting rejected all the time when people bother to respond, but then you get your breakthroughs here and there, and it just makes it all
How did you get into journalism?
While, but makes it helps bring the balance a little more closer together, the pros and the cons of it all, but again, it's like anything, it just doing this in reggae music, it just has to be something you love. Otherwise, it makes no sense on any level to be doing this. It just has to be something you love. But if you love it, then you will find your way through it. You find that you do want to devote as much time as you can to it, to do it in the best way that you can.
It's funny she says that, because I started out, my nickname, Dr. TKO, is I used to cover boxing. As a little kid, I used to be a boxing writer. So I wrote for Tucket Times locally, Flash, Boxing Digest, and I was a minor in journalism in college. And you got to love it, because there is not much money to be made. And when I found out what a full-time journalist made when I was at Northeastern, I was like, I'm switching my major.
You're
so,
right.
Yeah, it's tough, but you have to love it for sure. She's 100% right on that.
You got out in time, which is good.
I found out you get free passes to all the fights if you're a journalist. So I started covering the boxing. I started going free to all the fights. But yeah, when I found out you actually get paid, I was like, yeah, I think I might need to find something else to do.
I mean, nobody gets into reggae journalism for money. That
No, definitely.
It's very similar. Very similar.
Pat, how did you get into this? I know I wanted to let you go, but now I don't think I want to let you go. How did you how did you get into this culture?
Oh, just as a fan of reggae music, and I really like reggae music, and I used to talk to my friends about how much I liked it, and sometimes they could handle it to a point, and then no, stop with this. But then one day I was about 18 years old, and a friend of a friend. We were all talking about, you know, what we envisioned our lives to be and so forth. And he was a musician, not a reggae musician. He had a little band here in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And he said to me, he said, you know, like if you like reggae music so much, and I should add, like in school, I was always told that I could write well and I should think about writing. And, you know, I never really paid it any mind because I just didn't have that thing that I wanted to write about. Some people always feel like they have that novel inside them they want to write. I didn't have that. They want to do poetry. I wasn't that. But this friend said, you know, if you love reggae music so much, maybe you should consider writing about that. And something that clicked in my mind. I didn't know how to go about it, really. Some days I'm still not even sure how to go about it. But, you know, it's something clicked that, you know, that could be something I'd be really interested in doing. And, you know, 35 years later, I'm still very interested in doing it. So, but that's basically how I started, as a reggae fan, you know, just hearing reggae music, liking it a lot, and always listening to it, always when I could buy more, find out more. Again, you know, this is way before, you know, now the way you can access things so freely, but you still go in record stores. If they had a reggae section, I would always have to buy something, even if I didn't know what it was, but just, you know, trying to guess, and then got a little more knowledgeable, recognizing certain names, and, oh, well, I like the last thing that this person did, so maybe I'll like this, like that type of thing. And just kind of piece by piece, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's essentially how I got into it.
What's your best reggae story?
Well, probably the best reggae story is I would never repeat them, because it either involves something maybe I shouldn't have seen that I saw, or something that someone said that I shouldn't have heard, like that type of thing. But I mean, I'm just so, you know, in this past few months, having lost so many greats, I'm just really thankful for, you know, all the legends that I've gotten to meet and talk to, like, you know, Jimmy Cliff,
Yikes.
Core of Third World, Sly and Robbie, definitely, you know, as I mentioned earlier, like being of an age where I actually saw them with Black Uhuru, like back in the day, like, and then to think like 10 years after that, there I was in Kingston, like sitting across a table from both of them. It was kind of, it's a moment I still reflect on, like, wow, how does that even happen? You know, like, how did that happen? You know, but people like that whose music meant so much to me for so long. And, you know, now, like being older and listening back to records that I love from the 80s and 90s, I think I'm even more awed by what I'm able to do. And so many others, you know, like Coco T, I know, was a singer I really loved back in the day. And it, you know, really hurts that to see that he's gone. I mean, there's just so many, but I'm just so thankful for all of these opportunities to have been able to sit and talk with so many of these greats who have, you know, since transitioned. Most have been really great to talk to. There are some, you know, let's face it, there are some who are disappointments because you revere their music so much, then you meet them and they're kind of like, oh, they act like they know they quote unquote have to talk to you, but, you know, it seemed like they really rather be doing anything else. That's never a great feeling, but it's part and parcel of what you sign up for, so to speak. But you know, just into the amount of time I've spent in Jamaica over the decades, you know, I am really grateful for that. It is such a special place in my heart to be there, and still is. I still get very, as much as I have been there and the time I've spent over the years, I still always look forward to going there. And that's not being, you know, blinders on to the problems that are there, because let's face it, I live in New York City and we got a lot of problems here too.
Right.
we're a great city, but we do have a lot of issues. And Jamaica has its issues, but it is a wonderful place. And I would say that same savvy that you approach life in the big city, you keep those wits about you in a place like Jamaica, and you'll do just fine. So
Nice.
so that's just been, the greatest thing, meeting so many of these musical heroes, having these wonderful opportunities, and to talk with them. And then especially now with the loss of so many greats that have been so, so profoundly influential to me. Those are just great memories to have, and just things that I'm just absolutely not only delighted to have done, but kind of amazed that I've had these opportunities over the years.
Nice. Panel, did we miss anything that we want to talk about? I wish we could talk about the music, right? Like the music that just came out, but we can't play it because I don't want to get...
Oh, you don't want to take it so the stream doesn't show, that's for sure.
Right. We have new music from... we have so much new music. But I don't want to just say the name. Like, I would like to play a little bit of it, but we just can't.
Nope.
That's a bummer, man.
It's such a bummer. It's such a bummer. Did we miss anything?
Copyright. I
don't know. Let me go back to the list. Did we miss anything?
Yeah, go back to the show notes now. Let's see if we missed anything before we go. We don't want to be on here till 12 a.m.
Oh yeah, UB40. UB40, Atlantic City. Yeah, we missed that. And the best of the best, Miami.
They were at my job on Friday night. Or Saturday night. They were at Foxwoods with Alex.
Really?
UB40?
Yeah. Yeah.
What were they doing?
Because I'm the one that my job at Foxwoods, I had to make sure all the assets are correct and the ads. And
how many jobs you got? You Jamaican?
So, yeah.
Guys, Jamaican. How many jobs you got?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they played at Foxwoods this weekend. I wanted because I wanted to get my parents tickets, and the rooms were, even with my discount, the rooms were outrageous, so I couldn't get them tickets. So, yeah, they were there this weekend. They do a little bit of reggae there. They've asked me to bring stuff in the past, but I just don't feel comfortable doing it at my job, just in case it doesn't work out,
I hear it. And Neil, what do you think about Jamaica shattering the record in track? That would be the last topic for tonight.
Yeah, Brianna Williams.
I'm really proud of them. Looking forward to the LA Games. They're going to introduce cricket at the LA Games. I'm really ecstatic about that.
Oh my goodness! Nobody watches cricket, Neil. Come on.
I do. I love cricket. I wouldn't like to watch the West Indies lose repetitively like I do, but that comes with the territory because of the territory. Yeah, I'm glad that they got somebody else besides Usain Bolt doing something amazing for them this time around.
When we talk about cricket,
let's see what happens. Oh, cricket? You want to talk about cricket? Okay.
Let's real quick about cricket. Is the West Indies even good?
They qualify.
All right, that's
it.
We got
to individually, they're great players playing currently right now in the Indian Premier League. But as a whole, as a team, there's a lot of improvement to be made. Honestly, it's like a horror film. You have to cover your eyes while you watch the match because you know the end result. It's like that. Not like when they were revered and I don't even like
soccer.
That's crazy. All right, let's end the stream here. Anil, you sign off first because you went last.
I don't know what's coming up.
Perfect.
I think there's something SOB on the 20th. I think something else is coming around. I think that's about it for me. Best of the best. What's Pat doing next? That's the real story. What event are you covering next, Pat?
I'm not sure. I mean, I hope to be at Sumfest. I know, Anil, we talked about that, but I'm not sure about that. But I may be going to the Cayman Islands for actually for a Vibes Cartel show at the end of when is it? At the end of the month. I'm just, again, with this book thing, I just am so reluctant to travel anywhere till it's wrapped up. So I'm trying to just sort of work on that and hopefully get that done by the end of the week. And if it's not, then I'll have to pass. But that's something that I would look forward to doing.
All right.
I don't know what's coming up in New York. If there's any, I know this is our season where we more outdoor shows because the weather is finally nice. So I know there's Shaggy in Central Park, and that's about all I know of Summer Stage. And I'm sure there's much more to come, but I just don't know what it is yet. Sorry about that.
All right. Teddy, what says you?
We got the Big Bad Island Saturdays each and every Saturday. Alchemy, 121. Chestnut Street, Providence, Rhode Island. With Paul Michael. And we just locked in his birthday, August 1st. We have DJ Ren from Atlanta flying in for that. And then on August 8th is our big, every year we do a big Jamaica independence celebration. And it's a very important part for me to make sure I have a Jamaican selector at some point in the night. And that night, we're going to have RFB DJs from New York City with Talented from Jamaica and Axe from Japan. They are so, so wicked. And that is going to be August 8th. And May 16th, we're waiting on confirmation, but we're probably going to have a big, massive special guest. It's going to be a 90 event. He is a special guest that we can't announce yet because he's playing somewhere else where he's contracted to. But he really wants to come to our party to play. So that's going to be a big night if that goes through. And that's about it. And then we have May 24th at the Parlor in Providence, 1119 North Main Street. It's a holiday Sunday. It's a very small venue. And we do a little thing called I Love Dancehall there. So that'll be on the Sunday, May 24th. And that's about it right now for us. I keep it simple because I have a day job and I'm old, so I can't go out too many nights a week.
Oh, stop it. All right, before we
One
get
more
out of
thing.
here,
One more thing. Kes Namdi, the Grammy Award winner. That's May 20th at SOB's coming up.
And you don't want to miss that.
Vibes Cartel for the Grammy this year, so you know, it's totally worth its performance.
So the first time in New England ever for Keznami, I brought him to Providence, and it was a snowstorm. The poor guy had like 50 people there. I felt so bad. I lost a shit ton of money, but I felt more worse for him because I couldn't, get the people out. There's a parking ban and everything, but the show must go on. But he is a wicked, wicked, wicked artist. So if you can catch that show, you make sure you catch that show. He's wicked.
All right. On May 10th, we have, where's my Baby Sham? We have Baby Sham up and close in person with the live band Sunday, May 10th at Big Night Live.
One of the baddest live artists.
Baby Sham
wicked.
is.
I brought him twice to Rhode Island. Wicked, 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 wicked.
Baby Sham goes unnoticed. Maybe we have to talk about that next week. Baby Sham goes unnoticed. And then Friday, May 22nd, we have 450 in Ding Dong. Again at Big Night Live. Advanced tickets at $60. You could probably sell one of your kidneys to attend that event.
Ding Dong is real wicked, though. Real wicked.
I know Ding Dong is. He's right here on my wall.
Yep. I got a nice drop from Ding Dong for Island Saturdays. Real wicked.
Saturday, June 20th, Capleton, the Fireman. And we talked about fire. Hey, guys, if you want the fire, if you want somebody burning out something, June 20th, this is your thing. Just want to thank everyone for coming onto the show tonight. It was a good show tonight. We covered a lot of topics. And Pat, don't be a stranger.
Oh, I won't be. Thank you so much. This was great to be a part of this. So thank you for having me.
And not to offend all your bosses.
Thanks for coming back, Pat. Really appreciate
40 points tonight.
Say that again, Teddy.
I said not to offend all the Boston people, but my New York Knicks just won by like 40 points.
We're gonna end the stream here. Thank you so much, guys.